do an absurd amount of damage. That applies to towers.
Yes, that's what we saw during China. They were able to use that so effectively. Either way, we're going to go ahead, get into our first pick and ban. And Vietnam, they've done the research, TJ. They said, no, the Superman's not allowed. We'll have to see if they follow that up with the Omen.
I should hope they get rid of that Omen. I should also maybe consider saving it for their own star player during this AWC Bronze 5. He's played Omen exceptionally well in the split lane.
Well, Malik being banned out here by China as they take their time to tick things down. For China, they're often ones that can really just play anything at the moment. They really don't care what gets banned against them. For China, they're actually Aram not going to be playable here for Vietnam.
Yeah, and that's interesting because the only notes I really have here about Aram, aside from her generally being a powerful character, is that Junjun over on the Chinese team plays her extraordinarily well. So it's interesting to see them be the ones to ban it out, but it's still such a powerful character, it's rare to see her not banned.
Vietnam, their second ban here for Game 1, going to be the Grak. He has popped up here during the World Cup. Of course, I know, TJ, you're disappointed. You'd love to see the hooks from... But
counterpoint, the fact that Grak is good enough that he's getting banned is absolutely an improvement. People appreciate my man Grak.
China going to be banning, of course, the Team E. Vietnam doing their homework, getting rid of the Omen, but that does leave the Zenyo to be the first pick here for China.
And it was instantly locked in. Monkey absolutely on board with the Zenyo pickup because it is so powerful currently. I do expect that to be run on probably 98k.
See here, interesting fact actually about 98k is that he is actually more of a support coach here for China that's come on in to actually play.
We were talking to some of the players in the lobby, and apparently he's one of their coaches, and pending some travel issues, he's come into play, and that's why he's playing more passive, more defensive, more safe, because he's not necessarily as mechanically talented as many of their players, but he certainly showed he's got the tactician's brain.
For Vietnam, though, this does leave up the Lindis for TF, and TF has had consistent performances coming into the World Cup during the group stage. He did get abused quite a bit. On top of that, for Yamate, also going to be locking in the Kilgoroth.
I really like the Lindis. Lindis currently, in my opinion, the most powerful jungle marksman out there. Definitely up there. Maybe Violet's better in some people's eyes because of her range to towers, but it's absolutely pivotal when locked in on your team.
For China here now, in response, looking at the Scud, the Tulin's going to get locked in as well.
Boy.
Scud, all right.
Both more meta than we're used to seeing from China, but I'm excited too. Their mage player, typically very effective. Nan1 in the mid lane, he's actually the one to lock it in. And I do love it because that high mobility character will allow them to stay so fast and so eager for fights.
And he's very smart in his positioning, especially because he did play it once during the group stage, waited for a fight to collapse on, and then came on in. I believe he cleaned up with a triple kill in the mid lane, so he's rather smart about his positioning, knowing the limits of the hero. Now for Vietnam, they're looking to Chukdar being locked in here.
I like the Chukdar. Definitely haven't seen him be so visibly influential, but one of the things to keep your eye on with Chukdar is the fact that he's CC immune at a lot of different points in the game, so you'll see him intercept things like the Slim's Thrown Spear, things that could be and should be a deadly initiation for the other team, just peel off of a Chukdar, and that can be invisibly effective.
Now, during my notes here for Vietnam, this is actually a rather important pickup for Blake. He really likes to play the Liliana. Had a really good performance, but TJ, look across the board. The Fennec getting locked in for Yichen.
That's what we were hoping for because it is so out of meta.
And it's just insane amount of damage. All the time. Like, he can go around, he can take down towers, especially with Yichen. We saw how fast he can clear out the jungle. His farm game is ridiculous on him.
Yichen plays him to such an exceptional degree. I love seeing new weird characters be played. I haven't seen Fennec in meta since, I guess, weeks 1 and 2 of VALOR series. So the fact that he's coming back is cool. He was never really impossible to play, but a recent buff makes him very, very effective. Watch this ultimate, Chain Hammer Cyclone. It now applies those Thief's marks I was talking about earlier, meaning you can very easily stack the marks onto multiple people in a team fight.
And final pickup here for China, going to be the Lumber, so going to have some nice disengage as well as a nice front line if they want to go in onto Vietnam. Like we mentioned, China, they are a bloody team and they want those fights. Vietnam, final pick coming on through, going to be the Alice.
Alice, one of, I think, the most undervalued characters here. Polo plays him very, very well as one of the best support players currently in the game. I love watching Polo play him, and I can't wait to see what he does here.
Now, taking a look here, TJ, you know, what is the plan for Vietnam when you take a look at this comp? Are you just looking to TF getting farmed up so he can try and carry those fights later? Or especially Bronze 5, who's made an exceptional performance during the group stages where he popped off, honestly. He showed up.
I think the Kilgroth can be very effective at split pushing during the game. That's something to keep your eye very much on. Also, pay attention, like you were talking about, to TF. If this trio works well, let's actually make it all 4 of them. If this 4-man squad works well, it's Yamate in the front line, slowing down the fight, especially with Shockwave, which is, Energy Surge, which applies a slow to anyone it's hit, with one of the widest AoE slows in the game. Then you have the Liliana-Alice combo, which doesn't even need to be explained. Alice will slow down that fight, especially with the Hissy Fit, and it will amplify the damage coming out of a formidable Liliana player.
Well, I'm excited. It is game 1 here between China and Vietnam. Both teams looking to fight for their slot next week at the TCL Chinese Theater. Only 4 teams can join us during next weekend. China looking unstoppable after the group stage. 4-0, did not drop a single game. The only seed 1 team making it here into the knockout stage to actually do it. On top of that, they came in as a tier 2 team.
Oh, yes. And I think they're the only tier 2 team to come through as a tier 1 team.
Yes.
Which is very exciting as well. Chinese team has been improving at such a rapid rate. This is the chance where they get to play another iteration.
Well, let's see. China already making their way up, and Blake just a little far forward. Got to be a little bit careful there. Already gets tagged there by the Scud.
Just a friendly reminder.
It's like, hey, you're playing the quarterfinals. Please respect me. Do not try and push all the way up into the lane at 30 seconds.
Both teams typically go for a trade invade at this point, but you can clearly see, we talked about this, Vietnam, a very defensive team, did not opt to do so. Now TF takes, but I fear too much time has passed. Junjun is back to mount a defense.
Yeah, he's got Polo there. Instead, it looks like TF looking for a possible gank toward the bot lane, but still a bit early, and 9AK is playing pretty safe.
Impossible gank towards the bot lane. They've just lost too much time too early on. This is already looking like perhaps the worst habits of the Vietnamese team.
Because if you look across here, Yi-Chen, already they were able to take away the buff. He went back on down toward his bot side, picked up his Might Golem, and now he's going to pick up his Sage Golem. He actually gets 3 buffs to start things off.
And that is huge. I've seen players talk about getting 3 of the 4 buffs. They say if you do that, you're guaranteed the victory. The stats don't quite back that up, but getting all 3 buffs is massive.
You see TF, he's just looking to apply pressure somewhere on the map, because look, toward the top side, they actually cleared his jungle, so he was, you know, clearing out the bot Seagull, but when he came back up toward his top side, there was nothing for him to farm, so this kind of just slows down his pathing on the Lindis. Now has to wait up for some of these camps to respawn so he can get some more experience in gold. But look at this, China already forming around the Abyssal Dragon.
And they'll melt it so fast. Vietnam need to get in here.
Hammers come out toward the side, looking to just disengage. Abyssal Dragon gets secured there by Yi-Chen. Yamate stuck in the front line, and that's going to be first blood to China in the quarterfinals. Polo gets caught out, making a double kill for Nanwan.
Beautifully done by China. This is the aggression we were looking for, and Vietnam, they're playing defensive Bronze 5. You're not supposed to be taking your own buff during that time. If you know the opposing side are pressuring down near the Abyssal Dragon, I want to see you taking advantage of that.
And that's just the power of grouping this early for China, especially with Yi Chen, who farmed up, got the triple buff, had the chain hammer available to zone away Vietnam. They could not come down the river. They were actually CC'd for a solid second and a half while the Abyssal was down below 1,000 health, but Vietnam still couldn't do anything.
Yeah, watch this again, because the Chinese team actually kite out the dragon much further than most teams do.
Oh, 30! Oh.
Yeah, they managed to burn it down actually as it's beginning to regenerate HP, playing it very close to the wire based on the knowledge that that'll make it a little more difficult for Vietnam to get it.
Well, sitting at a 1,300 gold lead, 2 kills at 3 minutes here for game 1. Got themselves the Abyssal Dragon, now wanting to open up the map, maybe find another kill, because you can already see the lumber toward the top side, looking to cut the wave in half. And China might be looking for a dive here. Mengji goes underneath the tower rather aggressively, and now Nanwan wants to come in for the fight. Knockup comes on back. Vietnam is split. God. Tower gets taken down. Bronze follow, 2 kills again for China.
That was legitimately one of the coolest tower takes I have ever seen. The way they were able to press forward, then rely on the Angelic Splendor to mitigate the tower damage coming through on them, as well as regenerate their HP, was insane.
And in my notes here, DJ, I was looking to talk about a duo roaming here for China, Yi Chen and Nanwan. Right now, it is 4 members, Mengji, Junjun, all going up together. Meanwhile, while 9AK is just in that side lane farming.
And he's having a great time. Let's talk about Mengji, though, because he's still pressuring jungle. Even whilst the rest of his team falls back, he's enough of a threat that Vietnam are doing what I was talking about in the pre-game. They're grouping a little bit too much on the defensive and losing a lot of jungle control because of it.
Yeah, he's known to go in aggressively into the jungle. Mengji now helps his team out, but up toward this top side, he has to be a little careful himself. 3 members of Vietnam coming on over, but down in the bot lane, China take out Bronze 5. Once again, that's a key member for Vietnam that keeps getting killed here.
Every single fight, the Chinese team managed to pressure from more than one side. They always have a flank that comes in about halfway through the fight. There, they gave just enough of a fair fight that Bronze 5 felt it was worth fighting, and then the flank comes out. 2 more players leaping from the bush behind him. By the time Bronze 5 realizes he's made a mistake, committed to an unwinnable fight, he's eaten alive.
You can see all the gold being funneled once again onto Nanwan. Let's take a look here. Marco Polo.
Yes, I'm still ashamed of the fact that that punt came through. But one of the things we were asking for is Polo here? He's a very, very influential player for Vietnam, both in the fact that he's insane when he's on point, and that Vietnam are missing a major asset when he's not.
He's known to explore. He likes to roam around the map and help set up plays, but right now China have applied so much pressure onto Vietnam that there isn't a whole lot of room for him. He's mainly answering the aggression, going across the map back and forth, and even falling a little bit behind.
God.
Look at the level. He's sitting at 5, and Bronze 5, speaking of 5, gets taken on down.
Beautifully done again to know exactly where Bronze 5 is and instantly have the response. The Chinese team have such good map awareness and coordination.
Honestly, Vietnam, they're yelling Marco, but Polo is not answering, it would seem. The pressure still coming on through, but meanwhile, in bot lane, actually make that mid lane. 9AK now coming up to the top lane to help answer. All lanes being pressured here by China, because look, there's even a bot wave starting to form. Yi Chen can come down and take this.
And he will. There's no way to stop that tower take by the time they realize it is going down. It is gone.
So every lane at the same time, TJ.
Is that allowed?
I don't know how they do it. On top of that, they now have Abyssal Dragon control once again.
And again, they're confident enough in that Fennec to have enough burst that they kite the dragon out of its radius to give them just a little bit more space to work with. Tiny little detail, but really fun to see.
Yeah, and welcome to Mengji, as he is known for his aggression through the jungle. I'm sorry, viewers at home. I'm sorry, chat. They let me write some of the lower thirds. TJ doesn't like it, but I like plays like this from Yi Chen and Mengji being aggressive onto the Dark Slayer at 7 minutes.
Mengji is so fun to watch because, like we were saying, he plays split lane, but he's constantly invading jungle. When you're able to do that, well, your team gains control and gains a gold lead awfully quickly.
And speaking of gold leads, it's 7,000 for China. 3, 1, and 5 across their objective totals and make it a 6th tower as Mengji just dives underneath it with Yi Chen.
They just punch the tower.
They just punch it down. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet, TJ. He doesn't care.
There's nothing you could do in the face of this Chinese team when they want a tower, it seems. They're so coordinated.
Well, Blake has to be careful there. Was getting some damage taken from Yi Chen. You see Bronze 5 coming on over. Polo still sitting at level 7. So behind, and now they're getting stuck into their base, TJ. This is the issue with Vietnam. They don't try and push out. They start turtling. It's very usually a slow death.
They need and generally are very good at slowing down the game, but I don't know if anyone can slow this train down.
You saw the tower. It's going to fall. Yamate over toward the side. Is going to get taken down himself. Yi Chen will get the kill credit. The train has arrived at the station. Nanwan also able to pick up a kill on toward the side. You see Blake is being chased down by 98K over by the Abyssal Dragon.
Why?
And 98K, he doesn't care. He still has his ultimate up in case China goes for a fight on a dive into the base.
It's more useful for 98K here to chase Blake away behind tower and keep him from returning to base than it is for he to be in the front lines because he could return in an instant with that
He's still chasing him, TJ! Blake has nowhere to He's catching up. China have now broken all 3 of the high ground towers of Vietnam's base. Nanwan just jumps on in there with Mengji, Yamate, and guess what? Daniel is going to be stopped. But guess what? The core is being taken here by China. Minions still coming into the base. Polo gets taken down. Are you serious? 98K. Let's and go home. He's not in Kansas anymore. And China take game 1.
What on earth was that? Hello, China. Welcome to the semi-finals.
Oh, they still got 2 games to go, TJ, before we can check mark that one away. But after a performance like that, I don't blame you.
That was insane. With a game like that, Vietnam, a traditionally defensive team, a team that can definitely get rattled in the face of aggression,